We need. Please stay awake. If you get this, I can stop preaching and we can go home. I got 6 minutes. I have 6 minutes to make this point clear, to drive this point home to you. None of us know what's coming. When this Sunday law passes, it's all conjecturing and assumptions. And we can go back in history and paint the most ugly picture of what happened and say this will come in the last days. It's going to be worse. Let me give you a glimpse of what happened in America in the 1880s. In when? What prompted this? What prompted this? An article in a place. In a place, watch this. What state are we now in? Florida. Were you alive when the Sunday Blue laws were in force? Anybody? No. We're in Florida, right? Florida? Which state, don't shout, which state in America God's Seventh-day Adventists were severely persecuted more than any other state in America? Does anybody know what that state was? What now? Georgia? Good try. You're close. Where now? Come on now. Louder. Arkansas. Arkansas. I'm going to show you what happened. And it's going to be worse. Arkansas. Look at this. Let's pass that. This came out April 15, 2018. Headline says what? Baseball and blue laws. As my wife was saying as we were driving here, they are saying, stop, no more baseballs, it's on a Sunday. And a few months ago, they were all saying, no more football, let's on a Sunday. Watch this. At one time in our history, baseball became caught up in the shrill debate over what? Proposed blue laws to outlaw athletic events on Sunday as a desecration of the Sabbath. Let's read blue words. Come on. In no state did this conflict play out more dramatically than in which state? Arkansas. Watch carefully now. In 1885. Now, context. When did God begin his last movement? Seventh-day Adventism. What year? 1844. So 1845, it's approximately 40 years removed. Watch carefully. In 1885, the Arkansas, what my friends? Outlawed what? Sunday baseball along with a host of other activities. Red words, Seventh-day Adventists who do not recognize Sunday as the Sabbath were especially unwelcome in Arkansas during the 1880s, when more than 200 were prosecuted in Arkansas. Let that sink in. So in the 1880s, Seventh-day Adventists were unwelcome in Arkansas. Think about that. What's coming in the last days for us? Did they drive those apostles of Christ from city to city? They were not welcomed in those cities. But praise God, Jesus says, you won't go to every city. I will come back. In Arkansas, you weren't welcome. I must come back this evening in Bible class and say some more on this. Watch the next phrase. Red words. When more than, what now? When more than 200 Seventh-day Adventists were prosecuted. That means the law, the governor of that state, who is in alliance with the papacy, who was in alliance with Nebuchadnezzar. Chapter 3 of Daniel, verse 2, the captains and the governors who oversaw Arkansas, a governor. That's it, my friends. And who are the ones going to meet at the Vatican with the Pope? Mayors and governors. All right. Friends, how many Seventh-day Adventists were around in the 1880s? It was a mustard seed church. A mustard seed church, my friends. A mustard seed church. And in one state, more than 200 families, Seventh-day Adventists, persecuted. Watch this. Read on. Moreover, the conservative forces unleashed a torrent of bills to bolster the defense of the Sabbath. What did they outlaw? Outlawing golf, tennis, and fishing on Sundays, forbidding the sale of gasoline on Sundays, prohibiting men and women swimming together, and prohibiting women's bathing suits, which strike above the knee. So this was a law from the secular government. You could not wear short skirts. And yet we have Seventh-day Adventists in short skirts. If you did not know, God winked. Because they are ministers who are perverts, and they are robbing God's people of the wealth of truth. But now you know. Don't feel condemned. You didn't know. Now you know. Now you know. Amen, my friends? This happened in Arkansas. So it was a law to force morality. Not only the day, Sunday, but how you live. Is it coming again, my friends? In times like these, who do we need? I didn't hear you. In times like these, who do we need? Do you know what's striking? Those laws are still on the books. Watch. Nothing yet. Watch. Then we come to A.T. Jones. A.T. Jones quoted the justice of the peace in a county in Arkansas. Listen what that justice of the peace said. He said this. On the 2nd day of March 1885, the man said, as far as he knows, when the blue laws were enacted in Arkansas, only Seventh-day Adventists were prosecuted. What does that mean? We were the main target. So what's coming? So Islam and so-called terrorists, it's a smoke screen. They know, the devil and his agents know exactly who they want to silence. Wake up, my friends. It says in Arkansas, it says blue words, the effect of this change worked a hardship on a class of citizens in this country known as Seventh-day Adventists, who observe the seventh instead of the first day of the week as the Lord's Sabbath. There were 5 or 6 of them indicted, and some of them the second time, by the grand jury of this county in Arkansas. For what, my friends? For the violation of this law. Then he said, in fact, these people were the only ones that were indicted for Sabbath breaking during the 2 years in which this law was in force. That's serious. That was the image of the beast almost receiving teeth. And we sit here not even realizing, friends, it's time to get ready. Not to be fearful, but set your home in order. Amen. Then came A.T. Jones, giving his own experience. Do you know it's time to move into the countries? Amen. Now, let me say it this way. Pray about it. Get out. Some may have to go before others. Don't you wait on other people to get convicted about it. Amen. Then you move. If God opens the door for you, you go. Amen. Some must go before others. Now make no rash decision now, but it's time to get ready. Because your next door neighbor will sell you out. Watch this statement right here. A.T. Jones speaking. Let me, sir, illustrate This is A.T. Jones before the Senate committee in Washington, D.C. Let me, sir, illustrate the operation of the present law by one or two examples. And Mr. Swearingen came from a northern state and settled on a farm in this county in Arkansas. His farm was 4 miles from town and far away from any house of religious worship. Pause. Back then, 4 miles from town was pretty country, rural. They're on horse and buggy back then, my friends. Watch carefully now. He was a member, says Jones, of the SDA church. And after having sacredly observed the Sabbath of his people by abstaining from all secular work, he and his son, a lad of 17, on the first day of the week, went quietly about their usual avocations. They disturbed no one, interfered with the rights of no one. They were so far away, Jones was saying, but they were observed and reported to the grand jury. They were indicted, arrested, tried, convicted, fined, and having no money to pay the fine, these moral Christian citizens of Arkansas was dragged to the county jail and imprisoned like felons for 25 days. And for what? For daring in this so-called land of liberty in 1887 to worship God. This so-called land of liberty. In other words, Revelation 13 verse 11 was about to have its complete fulfillment. The lamb-like beast will one day speak as a dragon. Write down Great Controversy, page 607 GC, 607. Sister White says, many of God's people will be fined, imprisoned, and threatened to give up the Sabbath and keep Sunday. That's what happened in the 1880s, my friends. So what's coming again? It's going to be worse. In times like these, who do we need? In times like these, we better make sure we have a strong anchor. That anchor is faith in Jesus. In times like these, that's why we're told, put this down. I wonder, why did A.T. Jones over and over again say, but they were 4 miles away from town? Put this quotation down. Adventist Home, page 141. Again, Adventist Home, page 141. God has told his people to get out of the cities, into the countries, where they can grow their own provisions. Why? For in the future, the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. And again, he has given his instructions. Here it is. Get out of the cities into rural districts where the homes, where the what, my friends? Where the homes are not closely linked together, and where you'll be free from the interference of enemies. So if God gives you a 1 acre property, that's his blessing. But don't run for every 1 acre property. Because if your next door neighbor is unconverted and the Spirit of God is being withdrawn, they will sell you out. Come back this evening. I have 18 pages of testimonies of what happened in Arkansas. A man on Sunday was simply going into the field to get potatoes. His neighbor came to him and talked to him cordially, friendly, and the next moment went to the city hall and told that this man, his neighbor, defiled the Sabbath Sunday. And they came and arrested him, gave him an indictment, fined him, charged him, and put him in jail. Neighbors, that's why we are told, make sure you are placed where you'll have the least interference of enemies. Look at this. Then now, not only in Arkansas did this happen. The world said Arkansas was the severest state. Look what A.T. Jones says next. Arkansas, let's read that, red words on top. Arkansas was not alone in this. However, though it was worse there than anywhere else. Jones says this now. I myself, A.T. Jones, with other brethren in California, had to send hundreds of dollars into Tennessee. Hold on. This is the 1880s and you are sending hundreds of dollars? How many families need help? How many? Into Tennessee to support the families of the brethren of our own faith there in Tennessee, while the husbands and fathers who made the money for their support were in jail. Why? Because they chose to work for their families on Sunday and make bread for them after having kept the Sabbath according to their conscience. That has been done, Mr. Chairman, in these United States. That this is the care these people have for the laboring man. What's coming in these last days, my friends? In times like these, who do we need? Jesus. In times like these, what do we need? Hear me now, as we bring this to a close. This is why, like Christ, we need to have the assurance our lives are glorifying him now. Amen. Without this assurance, we're not going to have peace when dark clouds come. When the crisis comes. Don't take my words for it. Look at Christ's life. What did Christ pray just before the cross? Father, the hour is come. My soul is troubled. And what shall I say? Father, glorify thy name. So Christ came to a time of trouble and didn't have words to pray. Have you ever been there? Going through crises and can't even find the words to articulate your emotions? That is how Jesus felt as a man. Why? Because this is how we are going to feel in these last days. Father, the hour is come. Can't we not see, based on current events, the hour is almost here? That last prophetic hour, as it were. Now, don't go do numbers now. That last hour is almost here, my friends. And what was Christ's request? Father, please glorify your name. I said, Lord, what does that mean? What's our theme today? We must glorify God. Because the earth must be what? Lightened with God's glory.